ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Patriots, Cardinals, yeah. One of the reasons I really love Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, and I know they're not for everyone, but one of the reasons I love them so much is they're very candid. And you don't always agree with what is said, and you don't always agree in the manner that it's said. However, they're usually pretty blunt, okay? And especially Troy Aikman. Love Troy because Troy's that honorary, old, get off my lawn football guy that isn't necessarily stuck in the past and trying to hold on to what he has left of yesteryear in the NFL. But he's seen enough football. He's been a part of some great football and played against teams that were really damn good. And so he was a part of an era of really good football, and he knows what good football looks like. He knows what Super Bowl caliber football looks like. He knows what it doesn't look like because he was on a 1-15 team. And he knows what it looks like because he was on some of the best teams in NFL history. And so he knows what it's like from both ends of the spectrum, the extremes of each end of the spectrum, the worst of the worst and the best of the best. And when he says, and I couldn't agree with him more, and as I was watching this game, only one of these two teams had playoff aspirations to begin with. But as I watched this game tonight, I often found myself saying, and I'm going to ask you guys the same question. And I think I know the answer, but I don't like putting words in other people's mouth. Did you feel like you watched a playoff team tonight? At any point tonight, did you feel like you watched a playoff team? Because I didn't. I didn't see a playoff team on TV tonight. Let's hope that the Patriots don't infiltrate our AFC playoffs like they did last year to get beat up 48-7 or whatever the hell the score was, 47-7 like they did last season. Let's hope that they keep their asses home and let a real team who has a shot to make it and give us some competitive football. Because if they show up with this bullshit that they showed up with tonight, they're going to get their asses run. And whether that's Cincinnati, the only team they'll have a chance with this type of bullshit against is Baltimore. I don't think they're winning that division, however. So don't think it's going to be them. But any other division winner in the AFC is going to mop the floor with these Patriots. Whether it's Kansas City, whether Buffalo falls back and Kansas City takes the one and they got to see their old mates that they want no parts of in the Bills, or they see Cincinnati, or it may be Tennessee. Tennessee's the other one that if you're New England, yeah, give me Tennessee. I will have a chance against them. But this was garbage. Bad teams are going to do bad team shit. I've told you this numerous times. We'll get to the Arizona Cardinals because I've got a lot to say about them. But I just want to focus on the Patriots for now. This is the second straight game that we've seen Mac Jones go off on the staff. Now, didn't really go off tonight per se, but he was flippant and he was dismissive, and he came back and gave him a hug after a touchdown drive. We know the heat of the battle and things get said, that kind of thing. But this is a problem, is what I'm trying to tell you. Last week it was, stop running the effing ball. The run game effing sucks. Throw the ball. That was the clip that we saw last week that was on social media that I got a big kick out of, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you did, as he's sitting down after that debacle of a performance against the Bills in which they never really stood a chance. They kept running the football to no avail. Stop running the effing football. Throw the ball. The effing run game sucks. That was Mac Jones last week. Mac wasn't happy. I could tell even after a drive where, they had scored a touchdown, they had taken the 2-touchdown lead. There was a conservative drive where on 3rd and 7, they run a draw and they end up punting. And Mac just comes over. He's got a smile on his face, and he just sits down. And Matt Patricia comes over, and he, taps him on the leg, and he's talking to him. And you could tell Mac was like, that was bullshit. But I'm not going to say anything. We're up 14. I'm just going to chill. Had the score been reversed and they were down 27-13, he might have aired them out right there. So there's a problem. There's a disconnect between and this goes all the way back to training camp when Jacoby Myers was asked, or there was one of the players, a prominent player, I think, that was asked about the offense and the direction of the offense. He was like, that's above my pay grade. I'm just here to show up and play football. I don't even really know what we're doing on offense. Okay. And that's kind of what this Patriots offenses look like. We're not surprised. I thought the best line of the day that I heard was from the defensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals, Vance Joseph, the former head coach of the Denver Broncos, who said, and he didn't mean this as a shot, but this was as much shade as you can get on a 90-degree day. Okay. Find the biggest tree you can, get underneath. That's what this comment was. Vance Joseph said the Patriots offense is being called like it's being called by a defensive guy who's looking to run the football, not turn it over, and punt. And while he didn't mean any harm by it, he was more so trying to say it's more of a conservative approach. They play such good defense that if the offense just kind of stays out of the way, they're going to have a chance. With Belichick and company doing what they do defensively, as you saw tonight, just don't make any mistakes and you'll have a shot. But it was taken as a slight. Take it however you want. I mean, he's not lying. He's not wrong. No lies detected in that comment. I mean, that's what Matt Patricia is, a defensive guy calling the plays as an offensive coordinator. I mean, did he say anything wrong? This Patriots offense is hard to watch at times. And they've got some stuff. They've got some offensive line issues. And as Troy Aikman said, that's really rampant up, throughout the league. Most teams have issues on the offensive line. That said, there's no excuse. Mac Jones threw 12 screen passes tonight. 12 screens tonight in one game. I know teams in the league that haven't thrown 12 screens the entire season. They threw 12 in one game. Their offense, and they had some guys out. You come into the game with no Jacoby Myers, the very first offensive possession, if not the first, the second, you lose Devontae Parker. And that was a crazy situation because he hit his head, he gets up, and his legs are not cooperating. His legs are like, bro, did we tell you to get up? And nobody came and got him. I'm like, where's the independent neurologist? Where's the NFL people that are looking at the monitor to make sure that nobody harms themselves? This guy can't stand up. They're about to run another snap. And remember, that's the play where I don't know why the hell you haven't challenged a play all year long. And this is the time you decide to break the seal on challenging a play on an 11-yard gain. Really? Interesting. And it was a catch. You could see it. I don't really know what he was challenging. But had they not challenged, I don't know if they would have blown the whistle and came and got him in enough. He's split out wide, trying to stand up, and he's falling sideways. And they still haven't come and got this man. It wasn't until they called they blew the whistle and went to the review that they came and got him and took his helmet from him. I'm like, what took you so long? You were going to run a snap with this man just completely out of it, discombobulated. Clearly, he did not return to the game. But you don't have Jacoby Myers. You lose Devontae Parker relatively early, so you don't have a ton of stuff at receiver. But when does that ever matter with New England? Like, no one's fearing Jacoby Myers, or not to disrespect those guys, because I actually really like Jacoby Myers. But guys are fearing Jacoby Myers or Devontae Parker or any of the weapons that they have. Figure it out. Make it make sense on offense. It just hasn't for the most part. It's just so inconsistent offensively for this Patriots football team. And they found a way to get it done, though. You know, and that's the one thing I've always respected about Bill Belichick. Even when Brady was there and they had some injuries, or, you know, just the ability to be malleable. That's always been the term that I've used with the Patriots over the years. It's just being adaptable, finding a way to morph into whatever is necessary to win that week. It's sort of what they did tonight, you know. It wasn't pretty, but let's just make less mistakes than them, because as I've told you that a wise man once told me, and I tell you this very often, and you're going to hear it a lot more from me because it rings true, more NFL games are lost than they are won, especially when bad teams are involved. Sometimes you just need to take a step back and let a bad team be bad, and they will take care of everything for you. And that is exactly what the Patriots did tonight. The Cardinals are a joke, and we're going to talk about them in a second. But the Patriots, all they had to do was not turn it over. Mac Jones had turned it over earlier in the game. And at that point, you're saying, what are we doing? Why are we trying this hard? Let's just calm down. Let's run the football. Let's throw a ton of screens, okay? Let's just not put the ball in harm's way. And if we have to punt, we'll punt. And we'll just let the Cardinals be the Cardinals. They're 4-8 for a reason. No, and look, I didn't see Kyler Murray getting injured, which is why I picked the Cardinals. Just like I didn't see, you know, not to say that when the Titans played the Eagles, Treylon Burks was going to make a big enough difference to close a 25-point gap, which is what they lost by in that game, 35-10. But I'd like their chances a lot better with Treylon Burks in the lineup than without him. Just like tonight, I liked the Cardinals' chances a lot better with Kyler Murray in the lineup than without him. I think they would have had a tough time getting 6 sacks if Kyler Murray is on the field. I mean, the play he got injured on is to me indicative of what the challenge would have been for the Patriots, which is keeping him in the pocket and not allowing him to break contain or run up the A gap. But clearly that wasn't, you know, the case after his injury, and that's a significant injury. We'll talk more about that as the night progresses, but they just moved out of the way and they let the Cardinals self-destruct, whether it was on 4th down, whether it was turnovers, getting sacked, penalties. It just moved out of the way. Let the Cardinals be the Cardinals. They're 4-8 for a reason. Let them show why they're 4-8, now 4-9 on the season. And they did that because, honestly speaking, the Cardinals had every opportunity to win this game. I mean, the Patriots are not a good football team, really. They're not. But they found a way to get it done because the Cardinals are a worse football team. I like Mac Jones, though. I truly do like Mac Jones. And I think we talked about those young quarterbacks. I think him and Trevor are going to be just fine. I worry about the rest of those guys. Justin Fields has shown me a little something, but I still worry about him. I still worry about his situation, his environment. If not for Belichick, I'd worry about the environment in New England. But because of Bill Belichick, you get a pass from me. You get, you know, a bit of, I'll just say you have enough built up equity that I'll allow it. But generally speaking, when a defensive coordinator is calling offensive plays, that there's a problem. There's a big problem. Anyway, Patriots did what they needed to do tonight, ran the football. They had an injury to Ramondre Stevenson in this game early on, and they had 2 young running backs in there getting it done. Both scored touchdowns in this game. Like I said, they did what was needed when it was needed, and it got them the victory. I think the biggest the biggest takeaway and where the credit really must be given is the defense, and really that's been the case for the Patriots all season long. Whenever you talk about the Patriots and them having any type of success, no matter who the opponent is, it's usually traced back to the defense. Matthew Judon has been ridiculous this season. Josh Uche, I talked about him against the Bills last week on Thursday night and how effective he was and how I'm like, this dude has some juice off the edge. 3 sacks tonight. So he's really starting to come into his own. I love the kid Jones, Marcus Jones from Houston. Love him as a punt returner. Love him as a kickoff dude. And he's not a damn bad corner either. Got his first career pick tonight. That was a hell of a hit he put on the tight end out of Colorado State. His name escapes me at the current moment, but they got some stuff defensively, and they got it done defensively. You know, that's been their thing all season long. You know, Kyler Duggar forces the fumble, scooped up and scored. That's been their thing, is they create turnovers. They're fundamentally sound. It's not always, again, the prettiest because they don't always have the best of athletes on the field. But they got guys on the field that they trust to do their job. That's the moniker in New England, do your job. And guys on the defensive side of the football do their job. And they did that tonight. And the result was like 6 sacks, 2 turnovers forced, 1 to the crib, at least 3 fourth down stops, maybe 4 fourth down stops that created turnovers essentially on downs. And they got it done. So hats off to that Patriots defense. They were the difference in this game. This thing was 13-13 when DeAndre Hopkins fumbled. Like, the game was, even though I remember saying in the moment when they went for it on the 4th down, and they didn't get it right before half, I said, the Cardinals are going to lose this game. And I picked them, and I could see it coming a mile away. You missed a field goal on the opening possession of the game. You refused to take a field goal from 50 yards before the half when you got all the momentum. It's 13-10. You take this field goal. Yeah, he missed one earlier. Who gives a shit? It's Matt Prater. He's got a big leg. It's 50 yards, man. It's not 56, okay? Kick the damn field goal. I know you like to go for it on 4th down. That's your thing. That's why you're 4-9 right now, because that's your thing. And it's not always wise, just like the Texans yesterday. I get it. You're 1-10-1. You got nothing to lose. That's all my dad kept saying. They got nothing to lose. Yeah, I said, no, they do have something to lose. The damn game, okay? Kick the damn field goal and make the Cowboys go 75 yards, needing a touchdown, not 50 yards, needing a field goal, and anything after that is house money, right? Yep, I get it. They're at the 2. They got to go 98 yards for a touchdown. Well, make them have to go 98 yards for the touchdown for the win, not 98 yards for the touchdown for the win, but I can kick a field goal and take it to overtime, because the better team usually wins in overtime, and the Texans clearly were not the better team. Take the field goal. Force them. The pressure is not as great when you just need a field goal. I got that in my back pocket. 2 long completions, and we're in field goal range. The kicker has a massive leg. I'm not tripping about the field goal. Do you know when you really feel pressure? When you got to go for it on 4th down and you need a touchdown. A field goal won't do. Take the damn points. But again, I get it. And then of all things, you take a timeout, you come out of the timeout, and you still have an F up on the play. Quarterback's going one way, the running back's going the other way. Really? That's what bad teams do. Bad teams do bad team shit. That's what you saw tonight from the Cardinals. Illegal shift. You got illegal formation. How many pre-snap penalties can one have in a game? They had 4 of them tonight. False start, illegal shift, guy moving at the start of the snap, didn't reset. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's talk Arizona Cardinals. Let's start with Kyler Murray. My heart goes out to Kyler Murray. I hate seeing injuries that way, especially the star quarterbacks. You know, guys that depend so much on their legs, that's a tough one to swallow. That's a bitter pill to swallow. So on one hand, I'm like, damn it. The injury reaper got you. On the other hand, I'm like, bro, didn't you play baseball? Didn't you play baseball? Why can't you slide? That bothers me with Kyler Murray in particular. Because you were a baseball player. You played baseball. You threatened to leave football to play baseball. So you, of all people, you should be like Russell Wilson who played baseball. You should know how to slide. And he doesn't. And if he does, he doesn't do it enough. There are too many awkward falls with Kyler Murray. And I think I've seen him slide before. I'm pretty sure I have. Because if you're a baseball player, you have to know how to slide. He should have been sliding on that play. I don't know what he was doing, but he was trying to plant and his knee gave out. Now, look, I've always said this about knee injuries. Everyone's number is different. But you've got a finite number of cuts, plants, stops, starts on your knee before your knee says, that's the number. Whether it's 869 stops and starts and cuts, or jumps, or it's 71, or it's 10,020. But there's a number where your knee says, all right, that's it. I'm done. I need a break. He met his number tonight. And even if he slides on that play, maybe he meets that number on the next time he runs. Whatever the case may be, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. And the minute he went down and he didn't get up and he started grabbing his helmet, I said, uh-oh. And I told my wife when they went to commercial break, I said, I guarantee you they're going to have the card out for him when they come back. She says, you think? I said, yeah, that one didn't look good. Because you could see when he planted, he just went down. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. And on the telecast, they talked about, the severity of the injury. And obviously, we don't know the extent of it. Word out on the street is more likely than not an ACL, but they want tests to confirm that. And then you want to see if there's any other damage that was done. PCL, MCL, all that good stuff, just to see how much damage we're really talking here and what needs to be done. It happens in December. Usually at a bare minimum, an ACL is a 6-month injury, but we're talking about a quarterback that uses his legs. So I'd like to think that that's going to be like 8 to 9 months for Kyler Murray. If it's just the ACL, right? If it's just the ACL, it's nothing else. It's not a whole bunch of different LCLs or CLs rather, excuse me. We don't start talking P and L and all of that stuff. Then it could be 6 to 7, maybe, 8 at the earliest for them. But the thought is he's probably not going to be ready for the start of next season. We'll see. It all depends on the severity of the injury. I'm no doctor, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, so I can't tell you, but that's never good. But I find it interesting when it comes to the Cardinals that a lot of – because I am a Cliff Kingsbury fan. I like Cliff Kingsbury. I think he does a really good job of scheming it up. That doesn't make you a good coach, however. Jay Gruden did a tremendous job of scheming it up. Didn't make him a great coach. I don't know Cliff Kingsbury. Maybe if I watch the Arizona Hard Knocks, I'll get a feel for Cliff Kingsbury's coaching style and whether or not I think he's a good coach or not. That said, I know offensively he gets it. I don't always agree with the things that he does or some of his play calls, but he gets it. I don't agree with him going for it as aggressively as he does on 4th down, but to each its own. If that's your style, be you. Do you. When it works, we crown you a genius. When it doesn't, we second guess you. It is what it is. That's the nature of the beast. It's easy to blame Cliff Kingsbury for the pre-snap penalties, wasting of timeouts, things of that nature, anything that has to do with game situations, game management, preparation. Yeah, you put that squarely on the coach. When you got 4 pre-snap penalties, that's on the coach. When you're wasting timeouts to avoid a delay of game or you don't have the right personnel, that's a coaching issue. When you're throwing the challenge flag, and he doesn't do it very often. Tonight was his first time throwing the challenge flag. Yeah, you put that on the coach. It wasn't a good challenge. You wasted a timeout. But they went for it on 4th down 3 times prior to the end of the game when it was out of pure desperation, like 4th and 15, and you knew they weren't getting it, but they had to because of the score in the time relationship. But there were like 3 4th downs that they went for before we got to desperation mode. And I thought every single one of them involved a great play call. Now, I would not have gone for it on 4th down before half, up 13-10 with all the momentum. Mac Jones just threw a pick. I would not have gone for it there. I would have kicked the 50-yard field goal. I would have taken the 16-10 lead if Prater could have delivered. He had missed earlier. Maybe that factored into the decision-making process there, but I don't think it did. I just think he said, oh, it's 4th and 2. Let's go for it. I got a perfect play call for this. Let's go for it. And the play call was perfect. It would have worked. Colt McCoy throws a duck. It's flat, and he allows a defender to get a hand on it. That's frustrating as a play caller. You dial up the perfect play, and I really felt like his players let him down tonight. I truly believe this was more on the players than it was the coaches. I just gave you the 4th down. You go for it there, and your tight end is wide ass open, and the flats would have been an easy 1st down. Step out of bounds, stop the clock. You don't even have to use your last remaining timeout. Everything is beautiful. And Colt McCoy, I don't even know if he had the laces. I don't know what the hell Colt was doing on that play. He tried to be too fine. It's flat. He doesn't put any air arc over it. This linebacker barely got off the ground, and he tips it. That's terrible. Perfect play call, wide open tight end. I don't know what else you want him to do other than go out there and throw the pass himself. Another 4th down. He draws up a gorgeous play to Hollywood Brown. Up the seam, splits the defenders. I don't think Colt McCoy was even ready for that snap. It looks like he's barking out orders to the offensive line to make sure the protection, because the Patriots are coming on this play. He sees it, identifies it, and he just wants to make sure that he's identifying the mic and that everybody's on the same page, and that ball comes whistling back to him. Oh, shit. Colt grabs it. He's a vet. He's seen bad snaps and premature snaps before. It didn't faze him. He grabs it, chucks the thing 35, 40 yards down the field. Hollywood Brown has it go right through his damn arms. Perfect play call. Perfect defense the Patriots were playing. You get what you want. You get the look you need. And it's right there. Drop. You throw a shallow cross to your main guy, your main man, DeAndre Hopkins. He kills me because he runs after the catch like he is 185 pounds running a 4.32 40. Like he's about to break a tackle and outrun a dude to the corner, turn the corner, and take off down the side. Like, bro, where are you going? Why are you running backwards like you got speed or something? Just go up the field and get what you can get. You're DeAndre Hopkins. You're not outrunning anybody. And more likely than not, you're not making anybody miss. Although he has been able to make guys miss in the past, here and there. But stop running backwards. Anyway, catches a shallow cross. He decides he's going to run backwards behind the block instead of cutting up the field and getting the 1st down. I'm going to run behind this block and see if I can't turn the corner. And it allows Kyler Duggar to come from behind, catch him. Why are you holding the football like a pineapple? Why are you holding the football like a grapefruit? I get it. 5X gloves. I got strong grip. You saw the catch that didn't count in the end zone. One hand. Look, Ma, one hand. I'm aware of all that. A wise man once told me, when you're in the city, put it away. Okay? Put it away. When you're in the town, when you're in the country, hey, you can hold the ball like a pineapple, like a grapefruit. Do whatever the hell you want to do. You want 2 hands? You want to go with 2 hands? You know? Do whatever the hell you want to do. I don't give a shit. Dalvin Cook, he's in the city yesterday, and he's got the ball in his hands with 2 hands, and he gets knocked out of his damn hands inside the 5-yard line, and he fumbles. What are you doing? Put this shit away. You got a defender. You don't know if there are defenders everywhere. You got this shit out here like this. This ain't no damn basketball. You ain't going one-on-one in the post. You didn't just face the dude up and now you trying to figure out what you want to do. It's a football game. Guys are trying to take your head off. Put the damn football away. Of course you deserve to fumble. That's the game right there. The game was never the same after that. That's my bad. Don't my bad me after that shit. That was dumb. That's loser football. That's why you 4-9. If I'm a coach, I don't know how. That's the kind of shit that I would lose a gasket over. Like, I would blow a gasket. I would absolutely lose my shit over that right there. That's not okay. Mistakes happen all the time. Guys make plays. Fumbles are going to happen. It's a part of the game. It sucks, but that's just how it goes. I can excuse the guy that's got the football tucked away and then the guy just makes a great play and punches the shit out. I can excuse the guy that's going to the ground. He thinks he's almost there, and then all of a sudden, boom, I can excuse the guy that runs into his teammate, didn't think that his teammate would knock the football free, didn't expect to run into his teammate, but he did. Boom, ball comes out. Shit happens all the time. What I can't accept, I'm not willing to accept, and I won't accept, is a guy trying to make a play but holding a football in a reckless and careless manner that invites a defender to be able to knock it free. And I'm not even sure that Kyler Duggar even got his hand on the football. I just think the sheer physicality of a tackle and just the contact jarring it loose was enough. Like, he hit him, and because he's holding his shit like this, it just forced his hand to clench, and the ball slipped out. That's loser football at its best, at its finest. I felt like Cliff Kingsbury's players failed him tonight. I really, truly do. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. 27-13, the Patriots get the win. They're 7-6. They're now in the playoffs. If it started today, guess what? It doesn't. I'm so glad that it doesn't, because I don't want to see them in the playoffs. I don't want them in the playoffs because they're going. The only way I would allow the Patriots in the playoffs is if you told me I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because we already know what the first game of the playoffs is going to be. It's the first game every year because nobody wants to see it. So they put it on first to get it out of the way. Whomever wins the AFC South will be hosting a playoff game, and whomever they're playing is always 110% always, no equivocations, the first game of the playoffs. Titans are going to win that division. They're going to host a playoff game. The only way I would allow the Patriots in is if you told me I can kill 2 birds, because I don't want to see the Tennessee Titans play either. So if you told me I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and I could see the Titans and the Patriots play for the right to get their heads cut off in the next round, be my guest. Sign me up. Because I got to watch the Titans anyway. I can't avoid them, okay? I can avoid the Patriots. I can't avoid the Titans. So if I had to endure the Patriots, at least make it where I got to watch them and the Titans at the same time, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now I don't have to watch them in separate games killing me softly. I feel like the football gods will prevail. And when it's all said and done, they won't make the playoffs. I don't think I have to worry here. but they did sweep the Jets. The Chargers are very unreliable. So I'm not sure that they won't end up with this 7th seed. I mean, it's a really, really tough position to be in as a fan because I just don't want any parts of New England in my postseason. But who's stopping them? I don't know if anybody's going to stop them from getting in. They don't have the easiest of paths to get there. They've got some tough games down the stretch, Cincinnati and the Buffalo Bills, and so the Dolphins. They got some losable football games. Hopefully, they do their part to make sure that they don't end up in the postseason. But we will see. They got the Raiders next week. Very winnable football game. See if they take care of business there. As for the Arizona Cardinals, what a year it's been for these two West divisions that we thought were going to be so high and mighty and powerful. Wow. Both of those divisions sucked ass. And in the NFC West in particular, Matthew Stafford started the season, isn't going to finish it. Kyler Murray started the season, isn't going to finish it. Geno Smith is starring in Seattle. And Trey Lance started the season, didn't finish it. Jimmy Garoppolo picked up where Trey Lance left off. He's not going to finish the season more likely than not. He could be back. And they're rolling with Brock Purdy. That's the state of the NFC West. Meanwhile, in the AFC West, Derek Carr stinks. Russell Wilson may not play this upcoming week. He went night-night in the game against the Chiefs, but he sucked ass just like Derek Carr has for much of the season. They're 3-10 now. Justin Herbert's been dealing with cracked ribs for a lot of the season. Hasn't had a full complement of targets to throw the football to. Offensive line has been in shambles. What's new? It's the Chargers. Happens every year. But he still got his team in position to make the playoffs, but in typical Chargers fashion, they're probably not going to make it. They're 7-6. And then there's the Chiefs. The Chiefs being the Chiefs, they're 10-3. They're going to win that division again. Andy Reid is one of the best in the game, and so is Patrick Mahomes. But, I mean, those two divisions are supposed to be ultra competitive, two of the best in football. Both of those divisions have been a massive disappointment with tons of big-time injuries. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. So if you're out there and you want to have your comment read, you know what to do. Use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you on board. Make sure that you subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and hit this little quick reminder to you all out there to subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. Turn on that notification bell if you haven't already done so that you don't miss a thing. And also hit the like button. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. There's almost 180 of you out there and only 38 likes. Now 41 likes. You can do so much better than that. I don't know why begging for likes is a thing. Why do I have to beg for likes? You come in, hit the like button. It's funny. I say that, and I'm as guilty as the next man. I will go and watch a video. I'll be 10 minutes into the video of a 16-minute video, and I still haven't hit the like button. And then I look down and I see the like button hasn't been hit. I'm like, oh, shit, let me hit the like button. So I'm just as bad as you all. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section. If you want to ensure that your comment is read, the best way to do that, super chat function, okay? Can't guarantee you that I will get to your comment if you just use the hashtag. I will try, but can't guarantee you. Anyway, let's get to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. And just so you know, I read your comments. I heard your jokes, okay? Over, under on 10 minutes late. You jerks. I was under, okay? Take that, put it in your pipe, and smoke that shit. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat who writes, sup, Lou? What's up, video channel? Writes, Thoughts on Marcus Jones' two-way potential? Also, big game for our Commanders this Sunday night. Indeed, it is. We've been talking about this massive game for the last week and a half. We've known about it, and before you know it, it will be here, and we will all be on pins and needles, hoping that the outcome is the one that we are expecting. But we've got plenty of time to talk about that. Marcus Jones' two-way potential is enormous. I'm not sure they used him in that fashion at Houston. I know he was a special teams dynamo in college. I think he left the NCAA as the all-time leader in returns for touchdowns. I think he had 9 in his career. He was ridiculous. And you can see that. The explosiveness, the acceleration, change of direction. It's ridiculous. He's got another gear that other guys just don't have. That said, Belichick has always been one to maximize the talent of a player who can do multiple things, i.e. Troy Brown playing both receiver and corner. We've seen this from a lot of different guys playing both sides of the football. They're not going to overdo it with him, but they are going to try to get it in his hands. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Jamal Agnew of the Jacksonville Jaguars, formerly of the Detroit Lions. Guy that's super talented, dangerous as a return man, really more of a corner. But they said he's so dynamic, we're probably wasting him at corner. We should just make him an offensive player so he can touch it more because he's so dynamic. Maybe the Patriots ultimately do that, realizing that, hey, he's got some talent as a defender, but man, he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. We'd like him to touch it more. Or they might just say, F that. He's capable of playing both, and we're going to play him at both. So we'll see. But he reminds me a lot of Jamal Agnew. And, ultimately, offense won out, and they put him on offense. So we'll see if that happens with Marcus Jones or not. But, man, is he a stud. Every time he touches it, there's a chance it could go the distance. That is for sure. John Livingston, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, J.L. Smith. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, Lou, the Pats are so bad on offense. I'm usually always afraid of them because of Bill Belichick. He said, no more. So with T.Y. going to Dallas, OBJ to Buffalo is a lock, right? Rumors tonight that Beasley is in Buffalo as well. I was never a fan of you guys getting rid of Cole Beasley, but I just assumed when Jamison Crowder came on board that he'd be the perfect fit for that offense and that you'd be fine without Cole Beasley. But did Jamison Crowder get hurt? Did I miss that? Because I haven't seen that man in like 2 months, it feels like. So I'm assuming he got injured and I just missed that. But Cole Beasley has always been a guy that can get open, reliable, knows your offense, was there for a number of years. So that would be a great fit. I don't know if OBJ to Dallas is or to the Bills is a lock. First of all, I never thought he was going to Dallas. Never thought he was. And we talked about this on the Super Friends, and my guy Law made a great point. He's like, Jerry Jones is all about the theatrics. He's all about the theater. Any publicity is good publicity for the Cowboys, and so throwing your name in that hat, having your players take him out to a Mavericks game, doing all of that stuff brings more attention to a team that already gets as much attention as any franchise in all of sports. Like, you don't really even need any more attention, but Jerry's never turning more attention down. More is better. Everything's bigger in Texas, right? So Law was like, I don't think there's a chance we're signing him. Jerry just wants to soak up all of this attention. It's free attention. He's going to take it. And that's what he did. I don't think they were ever close to signing this guy. And Jerry gave you excuses as to why it wasn't going to happen. But, as Law likes to say, we still got James Washington coming back. And he just played in his first game. Like, they weren't going to sign Odell Beckham Jr. They weren't going to do it. Could he go back to? I think he really wants to go back to the Giants. I think if the Giants weren't as bad, I think he'd go there because he never really wanted to leave in the first place. That's home for him. And there's no market really bigger than the New York market. It's perfect for him because he's a guy that does things outside of football. And so it makes a ton of sense being in that market. But if he really is serious about winning another Super Bowl, Buffalo was always the best choice. It was always the front runner to me. And there, of all the teams I just mentioned, Dallas, New York Giants, and Buffalo Bills, they're the only ones with any cap space, really. And they're the only ones truly in win Super Bowl mode now. Like, the Cowboys want to win, but I don't know if they see their window as being, this big or whatever, and it's shrinking and we need to go right now. Whereas the Bills, I don't know if they think their window is necessarily shrinking, especially when you got Josh Allen and he's going to be in Buffalo for a very long time. I don't think they think their window is shrinking, but you can't re-sign everybody, right? At some point, you got to pay Gabe Davis. At some point, you're going to have to pay some of these defensive guys. You've already paid a lot of these defensive guys, but at some point, you're going to have to pay more of these guys. And while you got all these guys, Dawson Knox, I think he just got a deal, though. I think Dawson Knox just got a long-term deal. But while you got all these guys on relatively cheap contracts, or at least the ones that are still on rookie deals, you want to make it happen because, again, you don't really know how it's going to go. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? Who's going to be healthy? Because you could have a guy re-sign him, feel good, and then boom, injury, just like at your safety position. Like, you never, no two seasons are alike and no two rosters are the same. So I think the Bills feel like they're really close. They got this nucleus. They got this defense. They got this offense. You want to take advantage of it. Maybe he's the piece that puts you over the top. We'll see. But the likelihood of him signing in Buffalo increased with Dallas going with T.Y. Hilton. But I don't think he was ever signing in Dallas to begin with. So it didn't ever, the odds of him ending up in Buffalo really didn't change for me with them signing T.Y. Hilton because I didn't think he was going to Dallas anyway. Mike Stevenson II. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Mike writes, did you see Skip and Shannon get into it today? No, I don't watch Skip and Shannon. I don't watch First Take. I watch none of those shows on television. So I never know what you're talking about or what they're talking about. And I generally don't care what those guys are talking about. They talk about the same shit every day, it seems like. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, in honor of the holiday season, we are going to have story time with Duncan. So sit down and relax and be prepared to be delighted. I like it, Duncan. I like it. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. This could get good because Duncan is good for having a couple of cold ones, mixed in with some Henny and some other adult beverages. And sometimes the keystroke fingers get a little loose with my guy Duncan. So this could be interesting. Stay tuned. Let's see what he has to say. Thank you for the super chat. And double up. Thank you for doubling up, Duncan, who writes, once upon a time, Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants got no presents while the Eagles got a Super Bowl. And the int wasn't that a great story, T. The end. I think that was supposed to be the end. The end. Wasn't that a great story, T? No, it wasn't a great story, but I appreciate the attempt. You get an E for effort. Thank you for that story. Duncan Wright. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB writes. Colt McCoy, our older bro Heineke. Yeah, sort of, kind of, but feel like Heineke is more of a risk taker. I think Colt might actually be a better athlete than Heineke. But I think Taylor, similar arm strength, although I think Colt might have him in that department as well. But I think Taylor is a bit more of a risk taker, higher reward and upside with Taylor than it is with Colt. But they're very similar. Their games are very, very similar. I will admit that. Excuse me. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, passionate, but no need to yell. As Arizona L, good for us. I was passionate because I picked the Cardinals to win tonight. But that's besides the point. I'm a football fan first. You guys know that. So I just like seeing good football. Period. End of discussion. And when I don't see it, I have a lot to say about that. I don't care about Arizona losing. That doesn't move the needle. What do I care about an Arizona Cardinals loss? They're 4-8. They weren't playing an NFC team tonight. The Phillies ace, 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, how are you and the family, my friend? Doing well. Thank you for asking. And I'd like to return that same question to you. How are you doing? How's your family doing? Hope all is well. It says, during the roundtable, I agreed with a lot of what you said because you're not just a fan, but you're more objective in study. That's why you get taken out of context like wide receiver talk. And I know the smart fans understand what I was saying, right? And I'm going to do a video. I put out a poll, and the poll spoke overwhelmingly that they wanted to see the video. And I'm just going to make points, and you can take them however you want. And I know the fans that are objective, that understand, they'll get it. The homers, the fans that ride or die with their guy, don't care what anybody else says, they're not going to get it, and they're going to try to, say stupid shit, which that doesn't bother me at this point. I actually enjoy the back and forth banter with some of them. I stay, again, you pick and choose your battles. Some of these people, a little limited, okay? Some of them had IEPs in school, and I understand that. And I'm okay with that, and I'm not looking to judge. I just need to be able to pick my battles wisely. So I try to decipher which ones are healthy, which ones are safe, and the others, probably should just leave that one alone. That said, it was simple, All I'm saying is that as a trio, and there isn't another team in the division outside of the Eagles that has a trio like Washington. That's the only other team that can even have a discussion with me. The Cowboys don't even have a third receiver. Like, it was funny because Law was laughing and he was playing all these sound effects and these bites. And I'm like, when I went back and watched it, I'm like, dude, are you just co-signing for the Eagles, or are you like laughing because you feel disrespected as well? Because you don't even have a third receiver. You don't even have a trio. Who's your third receiver? Noah Brown? Who's your third receiver? James Washington, or as he likes to say, James Washington. Is that your third receiver? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, you don't even get to belong in this discussion. You stay out. You don't even have three receivers. The only team that can even talk to me is that of the Eagles. And the fact that and I don't care how big of a homer you are, you've got to admit, Quez Watkins isn't better than Jahan Dotson. Are you effing kidding me? Like, that's the true definition of being a homer. Is like, at some point, you got to be able to admit, okay, all right, like, you got me on that one. Like, I can't say anything right there. Like, sometimes you just got to be willing to say, all right, you got me. Hands up. You got me. Like, come on, man. Stop. Like, what are we talking about here? I'm not telling you that Curtis Samuel is better than Smitty. He's not. As a pure wide receiver, he's not. But he's an all-purpose receiver. He's different than Devontae Smith. He's a different receiver. And so you still get the production out of him. It's just in a different manner. It's not all coming with receiving yards as it does with Smitty. If you're talking about a duo, then the Cowboys can be added into the conversation. You're talking about a trio, they're not in the conversation. I said trio. For that matter, I think our entire room, top to bottom, is deeper than anybody's in the division. But that's not what I was referring to. I said the trio. I take my trio, my three guys. And I think it's close. If you're an Eagles fan, there's a discussion to be had. I still think where the separation comes, because A.J. Brown, really good. Terry McLaurin, really good. We're splitting hairs there, right? And again, it's just preference. You want the big body receiver? Sure, knock yourself out. I'm not telling you you're wrong, okay? But it's close enough, all right? Smitty and Curtis Samuel. Smitty's the better pure wide receiver. You're not going to get any arguments out of me, but Smitty can't do some of the things that Curtis Samuel can do, right? So, again, there's a lot to discuss there, but people like you get it. And I've talked to other fans of the Cowboys and the Giants and even some Eagles fans that they got it. And they get it. But you guys, your voice isn't heard the loudest. It's the ignorant ones that their voices are way louder. Okay? So it is what it is. I appreciate you, though. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy JP writes, I don't know if Kingsbury and Steve Keim will survive in Arizona this time around, Lou, especially Keim. I never liked him at all. Well, they just got new deals, though. If they were going to make a decision like that, they would not have committed to them. You saw the graphic tonight. Keim, I think Kyler Murray was extended through 2028. Keim and Cliff Kingsbury were extended through 2027. That means after this season, they've got 5 years left on their deal. 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. All right. So are you going to fire a guy that still has 5 years left that you have to pay him for? Are you really going to do that? Not after one season. Not after you got to look at the Cardinals season, the way things transpired. You heard that there was never a point this season in which Murray, Ertz, Hopkins, and Brown were all on the field at the same time. Never a game. Okay. Hopkins missed the first 6, and not to mention Rondale Moore. Hopkins missed the first 6. Murray had an injury. He missed a couple of games. Colt McCoy had to start. Brown missed a couple of games there once Hopkins got back. Ertz then tore his ACL. It's been a mess. They've had a ton of injuries. Once Hopkins missed the first 6, you were like, man, can they tread water? He's such a big part of their offense. Can they tread water? So I don't think they're going to get fired. I just think they're going to chalk it up to, unfortunate circumstances. They'll try it again next year. The Phillies ace, 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, you may be a Commanders fan, but you're the man, my guy. Likewise, the Phillies ace, 34. You may be an Eagles fan and a Sixers fan and a Phillies fan, but you're still my guy. You're still my guy. DC fan 88. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, sup, Lou? Sup, DC fan 88? I'm going to the game this Sunday with my son. Well, you know what you have to do. I don't have to tell you. You know what the mission is, what it entails. It's his first game. I'm going tomorrow to buy Commanders gear. Should I get a B. Robinson jersey? So first game, this is a big one. This is a good one to go to. Should you get a Brian Robinson jersey? Why not? Why not? If you really, truly wanted to be safe. Robinson's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future, but his rookie contract is only 4 years. So he's only guaranteed to be here 3 more years after this year. Why not get a Terry or a Jonathan Allen or a guy that, isn't going anywhere anytime soon? Why not invest in that? Terry signed, a 4-year extension, 3-year extension. Jonathan Allen, what did he sign? 4-year extension. Why not get a guy that you know isn't? Because even after those extensions are up, those guys are probably going to re-up and stay here again. Like, why not get one of those jerseys instead? But we can't go wrong with a Brian Robinson. I don't see anything wrong with it. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. I think you might have doubled up already, but just in case, I got Metaphor. Right. LB won't admit anything, nor put up bet to back it up. That's the thing that frustrates me with him is I can't. And then it's crazy because we'll argue for 7 minutes, and then at the end, he'll just repeat the thing that I said 7 minutes ago, which is what started the argument in the first place. Like, or he'll go, this is the thing that bothers me with people. And he's not dissimilar from most people. He's really just concerned with his team, which I don't have a problem with. Most fans are concerned with their team. They're not watching the rest of the league intently. They may watch the game, but they're not really focused in like I am on the rest of the league. He really is concerned about his team and his team alone. And so a lot of what he based his opinions on are his team and in stats, statistics, numbers, right? And that's not always a great representation of what a guy is or what he's doing or how he's playing now versus how he was playing earlier in the season. You know, that's why I have a problem with just, going off of statistics, because they don't always tell the story. And so, but he and Law's not, he's sort of like that as well. Law's definitely a Cowboys fan, and he's more so geared towards the Cowboys than anything else. They are very heavy on the stat sheet, very heavy on numbers. And again, numbers only tell a part of the story. They don't tell the entire story. So I just get frustrated when I'm like, dude, there's certain things you got to be able to admit. You can't every time just say, oh, well, I'm going to just ride with my dude. I don't see how it ain't my dude. Like, it's not your dude this time. It's not your team this time. But hey, that's what makes it fun, is because I already know what his move is. I know his go-to move. I know we're going to not agree. We're never going to agree because he's never just going to concede, which is good for entertainment purposes, right? That's what you want. You don't want two guys agreeing all the damn time. That doesn't make for good theater, which is why I don't watch a lot of those shows on television, because it's fabricated. You pick a side, and then I can't pick the same side that you pick, even though I believe in what you believe in, because it doesn't make for good television. So you pick a side, I'll pick a side, and then we'll argue like crazy over it, even though I don't actually believe in what I'm arguing about. That's dumb to me. I can't get with that. Whereas when I'm arguing with him, he actually believes the foolishness he's saying, and clearly I don't agree. But again, to each its own. All right. Let's get to some hashtags. We still got a little bit of time. Ree writes, we'd be 1-12 right now without Brady. This team is horrible. Something has to change. We cannot sit on our hands and just stand pat. Something must be done. There's really nothing, and I mean nothing, you can do at this point of the season, Ree. Nothing. We're 14 weeks in, my man. You got four games left. There ain't a damn thing you're going to do to change the fortunes of your team, unless you're going to tell Todd Bowles he has to go back to defensive coordinator, and you're going to call up to the booth and say, hey, Uncle Bruce, you think you could come down and be the head coach for the final 4 games of the regular season and into the postseason? That's the only way you're going to change anything. You're not changing. There's nothing. There's not a guy you can call. There's no magic wand you can wave. Your team is what it is right now. Your team is what it is. He says, if Todd Bowles can't succeed with this talented of a roster, I have no incentive to believe that he'll be better next year with a lesser roster. I'll just tell you this, and you're not wrong. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I will just tell you this. If there's no Tom Brady next year, which there is a realistic possibility that there is no Tom Brady next year, which I always thought that there was going to be a problem. What did I tell you before the season started? I said there's going to be a problem because anytime a guy has 1 foot out the door, it never goes well. Brady had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He was not fully committed to this Buccaneers team this season, despite whatever he may tell you, despite the contrary, despite what he will allow, what he will lead you to believe. No man that misses a week and a half of camp and preseason ball to be with his family, no man that decides, I'm going to take the largest contract in broadcasting history, no man that decides on a Friday before a game, I'm going to go to my ex-owner's wedding and have a great time despite my team playing in 2 days. No man that's doing those things is fully committed to his team's success. Sorry, not sorry. So we could see this coming a mile away. And I'm not telling you this team's better off with Tom Brady, because it's not. But you remove Brady, you remove the one guy that is getting preferential treatment, and maybe you will be able to hold the rest of the team accountable for mistakes. You're not better, like you said, you're not better off without Brady. So I'm not making the point that, hey, maybe if Kyle Trask is out there slinging it around, you're a better football team. No, that's asinine. I'm just telling you, it's hard to hold Devin White accountable in the locker room for being a loose cannon and out of position. It's hard to hold this guy or that guy accountable when you got Tom Brady doing whatever the hell he wants to do. That's all I'm saying. Reese says, our schedule won't get any easier next year. We're going to win the division, so we'll have a first-place schedule. That's a part of doing business, right? That's, if you want to be good in this league, that's something you just have to be willing to accept. And that's a challenge that you should welcome. I want a first-place schedule. That means I won the division the previous year. I don't know who you're playing. I don't keep up with the Buccaneers schedule per se, so I don't know what division. But who knows? You could be playing a terrible schedule next year. We never know these things. You think you know. We thought the AFC West and the NFC West were going to be juggernaut divisions. They both turn out to stink for the most part. We have no idea. None. So we'll see what happens. Reese says, we lost to Mitch Trubisky, PJ Walker, and Brock Purdy in the same season. That alone should get Bowles fired. He's supposed to be a defensive genius. Well, you know as well as I do that when you become a head coach, you lose the ability to really put your hands on any one particular portion of the team. As a coach, it is your job to delegate. Now, during the game, you may call the plays, right? If you're enamored with the offense, you're enamored with the defense, you may call the plays still for that side of the ball, but you're not in those meetings the entire time. You're not laying your hands on these players. You're not watching them every single rep at practice while it's happening. You may go back and watch practice film, right, and see what the guys are doing, but you're not there when they're doing it, correcting mistakes. He's not as involved with the defense as he was as a defensive coordinator. So that changes. Now his job is to make sure that the entire team is prepared, overseeing every single facet of the team. So I'm not allowed to spend all 2.5 hours of practice with the defense. I got to walk over to the special teams, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and looking at the individual drills, seeing what the tight ends are doing over here, make sure the running backs look good in pass protection. Got to go over here and check out on these receivers, make sure that they're running these routes at the proper depth. There's so many different things you got your hand in. You got to make sure practice is organized. Hey, are we still on pace to get our red zone offense and defense done, in the next 30 minutes? It's a lot going on, right? So, yeah, it sucks when those are the quarterbacks that you've lost to this season. That's a bitter pill to swallow. It truly is. But you're still going to make the playoffs. You're still going to win the division. You're still going to host a playoff game. Find a way to get it done. That's, at this point, that's all you can do. Reese says, I want Jim Harbaugh. He'd come to the NFL to coach Tom. He wouldn't come to the NFL. I wouldn't. He's not going to leave Michigan to coach Tom Brady for a year or two. That'd be stupid of him. Not when you got one of the best jobs in college football. It's your alma mater, and you finally got them to a place now where they're respected. It used to be, oh, they can't beat Ohio State. Who cares? Now you've beaten them 2 years in a row, and this year you embarrassed them, emasculated them in their own building. He's got it going now. They're in the playoffs this year. I think this is the second year. They were in the playoffs last year. This is the second year in a row they've been in the playoffs. He's not going anywhere, and not for Tom Brady either. And you say you want Jim Harbaugh. You'd want him now. 3 years from now, your entire team would be ready to have a mutiny against that man. Wherever he goes, usually his welcome is warm initially, and then he overstays his welcome by about 3 to 4 years in, because he's a guy that really grows tired and grows, people are turned off to his methods after about 3 or 4 years. You grow very tired of him and his antics. I mean, the dude is trying to have college kids arrested. The Michigan State team, like, give me a break. I mean, that's some real bitch shit, honestly speaking. Excuse my French in that particular situation, but that's bitch assness at its highest. He needs to be right where he is, because the message never gets stale with college kids. You get a new group in there every 3-4 years that haven't heard the message, and so you can keep saying the same shit over and over again. He's right where he needs to be. I don't see him coming back to the NFL. Although he's an NFL guy through and through, which is why he's always listening. But if I were him, he's had the experience. He's been in the NFL. He's been in college. He's seen both sides of it. College is cake. Now, unless you just got the itch to coach grown men, and he hasn't conquered in the NFL. He'd like to win a Super Bowl. He's never done it as a player or as a coach. Came close both times. Miracle Colts in 95, and what were they called? The Cardiac Colts, I think they were called in 95 or whatever. And they had the Hail Mary against the Steelers, and it fell incomplete, and the Steelers went to the Super Bowl against the Cowboys. But they played the AFC Championship game, the Colts, with Jim Harbaugh at quarterback. And then he went to the Super Bowl with the 49ers, and they lost to the Ravens. Maybe he wants to win a Super Bowl, and that's his ultimate goal. But he hasn't won a championship in college either. How about you conquer that first? But anyway, I digress. Ree says Cliff Kingsbury looks like the most boring vanilla dude. He just sits at home with his wife eating a bland dinner, talking about his day. I don't buy that. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury, he hangs out with Sean McVay. I don't think he's I don't think he is as goofy and as bland as you think. Yeah, but I don't know him personally, but I've seen things that lead me to believe that he's the opposite of what you think he is. Anyway, Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, new LB and Lou show, agree on all. Siskel and T-Bert. I'll be honest with you. I thought about us doing a show before, but it's a lot. But it would make for great theater because, again, we never agree on anything. And we could literally spend an hour once a week arguing because we'd never agree on anything. But anyway, I digress. Let's see. Reese says, thoughts out to Kyler Murray. Dude is overhated, misunderstood. He may be. I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray fan. I think he's a bit immature, but you never want to see anybody get hurt. You may not like a dude. You may not, agree with the way he carries himself or, and he may be misportrayed, in the media and things of that nature. I always say, Wiseman always told me, nothing is as good as it seems, nothing is as bad as it seems. Somewhere in between, reality falls. You don't know. We don't know these guys off the field. We don't know how they are in the locker room. You only know what you see or what you've been told by those who are close to him, i.e. Patrick Peterson saying Kyler Murray doesn't care about anything but Kyler Murray. He knows Kyler Murray, so played with him for number of years. If he says that he's selfish, I've seen things that would lead me to believe that Kyler Murray is selfish, and then a player says that, what am I led to believe other than, hey, I was right, he is selfish? But you never want to see a guy get hurt. Whether you're a fan of him or not, that's besides the point. That sucks. Niners fan writes, Lou, do you think we can wrap up the 3 seed in the West on Thursday? I do. It got tougher with Deebo Samuel being out and Brock Purdy sustained an injury. He'll probably be able to play, but this is why players hate Thursday games. If Brock Purdy had, the final 3 days of the week to recover, he'd probably be in better shape than he'll be on Thursday night, but he'll give it a go. And the Seahawks are reeling right now. They got spanked at home by a much more physical team in the Carolina Panthers. You mirror that in terms of your level of physicality. It's family business. So obviously they know you know them, and that's going to give them a chance at home. But that said, I don't know if they can match your level of intensity and physicality. I don't know if they're capable of doing that. The teams this season that have given them problems are the ones that have been physical with them, i.e. the Buccaneers over in Germany. We're physical with them. That's why they won that game. I don't think they can match your physicality. Hence, I think you're going to beat them, wrap up the division, and really put Seattle in a tough spot. Really, truly think you are going to have a chance to do that. I don't deserve this, right? We should do to the Giants with the Giants. The only difference is that the Eagles have a much better QB than we do. I don't think that's the only difference. Just think the mindset of the Eagles is totally different. They go into a game looking to be aggressive. That's not our mindset. A case in point, it's 4th and 7 from the Giants' 40-yard line, let's call it. And it might have been the 42 or the 44, or it might have been the Giants' 38. I don't know. Just know it was 4th and 7. Is Ron Rivera going for it right there on 4th and 7? Probably not. It's either going to be a punt or it's going to be a field goal attempt, depending on where they were. If they were at the 38, it's probably a field goal attempt. 30, 5 or whatever. I don't remember exactly where they were, but it's either a field goal attempt or a punt, or you come out, you act like you're going for it, you take the delay of game, and then you get your back up 5 more yards and you punt the football. The Eagles came out. Not only did they go for it on 4th and 7, they threw a deep ball, and me and my dad were just laughing at the house because the Giants are a joke. Because Devontae Smith is 160 pounds, 65 pounds soaking wet. All right, it's 172 pounds, whatever, skin and bones. I dare you to throw that same pass with a safety that's looking to. He would have had either a ruptured spleen or he would have had 2 broken ribs, but his shit was exposed. He caught the football like this. And that safety, Julian Love, who's not really a safety, which is probably why he wasn't thinking about the kill shot, which is what it's 4th down, bro. I don't want the pick. What do I need that for? I get the ball back where he threw it, where they snapped the ball from. I don't need the pick. I'm looking to do critical damage to this dude for thinking he was going to catch this football. And I'm getting a turnover on downs, and he might not play the rest of the game. That's what I'm looking to do. Put his ass out of the game for thinking that he could pick up a 4th down like this. And they let him, not only did he catch it, they let him walk in the end zone. That man's season was done if that's a real safety. It's the Giants, though. It's Julian Love. Who doesn't want to spread the love, right? Julian Love, of course he's looking to spread the love. The Eagles I said all that to say this. The Eagles have a different mindset than us. They're aggressive. They're attacking, foot on necks. They're starting to show that KI that they lacked earlier in the season when they weren't scoring second half points. Now they're putting their foot on people's throats, crushing larynxes and windpipes, and making sure that teams aren't looking to come back and make it an interesting game. That's the killer instinct that I was looking for from them earlier in the season. Now they've got it. That makes them even more dangerous because I wasn't sure if they were killers or not. Everybody's a killer until you put that cold steel in their hand and say, hey, you got to pull the trigger. Everybody thinks they're capable. Now they're showing me it ain't nothing to them. It ain't nothing to them. So we don't have that mindset. We ain't looking to kill nobody. We really don't want to hurt anybody. We damn sure ain't trying to kill nobody. Okay. We don't even really want to hurt anybody. We just looking to get by. Totally two different mindsets. So no, we're not going to do what the Eagles did to the Giants because we're not wired that way. We're not wired to go and take somebody, drag them out back, tell them to put their mouth on the pavement. Open your mouth and step on the back of their skull. We ain't giving out California smiles over here. Again, if we bump into somebody and they fall down, we're, oh my God, we're so sorry. We're helping them up. We're brushing them off, making sure that they're good. Their faculties are all in the right place. Like, we're nice guys. That's not how we conduct ourselves. We're just looking to get by 20-17, 23-20, 20-19, whatever it takes. That's what we're looking to do. So it's two different mindsets. Abel Ambrosio writes, 7 more days until Carrie Underwood attempts to rhyme Commanders. And she'll do it flawlessly. All right. Or she'll go Washington. Either way, she'll make it happen. Jay Lee writes, I love Brian Robinson big hat trend. I need to cop one of those. About time we started a trend. I wasn't a big fan of the big hat craze, but I love that, like you said, we started something, and that's a real thing. But as with all trends, you get your 15 minutes of fame, and then we move on to the next thing. So that was the big thing when he did it. We saw a lot of different programs sporting a big hat the next day. It was cool. We saw his friend's business see an uptick in revenue and purchases and things. It was like a ridiculous amount of percentage, like 700% increase. That's the power of having a friend with the reach that Brian Robinson has wearing your stuff. That's awesome. We love to see it. I don't deserve this. This is how I would do it in 2023. Start Sam Howell. If he sucks ass, we can draft Caleb Williams, who in my opinion is the next Patty Mahomes. I don't think he's Patrick Mahomes. I hate the fact that they're comparing him. I hate the fact that he thought it was okay for him to say, yeah, I don't see me not being able to do anything that he does. You shut up. You shut up. You just got your team got your ass handed to you. And it was before you got hurt. You were getting your ass whooped by Utah for the second time. You be quiet. Okay. It's not that simple as, hey, let's put Sam Howell in. If we suck ass, we'll get Caleb Williams. You have to be the worst team in football to get the number 1 pick to draft Caleb Williams. Do you really think a Ron Rivera team, Ron Rivera in his career has never had a team worse than 6-10? You really think Ron Rivera, no matter who's their quarterback, and we've had situations that have been less than ideal here in Washington, do you really think this roster is going to lose enough games to where Caleb Williams is even in the discussion? I think that's fool's gold. It's a pipe dream. I don't see it happening. Let's see. I got another super. See if I do. I thought I did, but I don't think I do actually. No, I don't. All right. I think we about to get out of here. We already passed our hour and 20-minute mark. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and slide out of here. Patriots did what they had to do. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't, something that I'd prefer to see again. First of all, why do we have to? I get it. When they had Brady, why do we have to watch the Patriots so many times again? Like, Mac Jones isn't a superstar. Belichick is cool, but nobody's showing up to watch Bill Belichick. So why are the Patriots on national television as many times now with no Brady? Why are they important? Why are they must-see TV again? You do realize that Giants Commanders just saved you from Raiders and Patriots, right? You do know that Raiders Patriots game was on Sunday Night Football. And this would have been the third straight week. The third straight week we would have had to endure New England Patriots football on national television. They were on Thursday night, fourth straight week, because they were on Thanksgiving. Then they were on the following Thursday on Thursday Night Football against the Bills. Then they were on Monday Night Football tonight, and then they would have been on Sunday Night Football next week. Where is the sanity? Why would we want to watch them that many times in a row? Who makes these schedules up? You got to be kidding me. 4 times in a row? Unreal. I'm glad the powers that be saw fit to move that game out of, God forbid, the Patriots were the Cowboys. We would have had to watch that shit like we did the Colts and the Cowboys. Like, I still want to know who I need to talk to understand why that was a good idea. I know that, well, it's the Dallas Cowboys. They're one of the biggest draws in football. Like, why would we take them off? Because they're playing the Indianapolis Colts. That's why. Anyway, big win for the Patriots, 27-13 over the Cardinals. They're now 7-6. And again, if the playoffs started today, the Patriots would be the 7 seed. Meanwhile, the Cardinals dropped to 4-9. More importantly for them, Kyler Murray goes down on the first possession of the game. 4 plays in, knee buckles as he tries to cut back on a run, goes down in a heap, carted off the field, looked to be in a ton of pain and really a lot of distress. Guys know when something significant has happened. I was worried about Deebo Samuel. He looked like something serious happened, and then we found out that he dodged a bullet, and it was just a sprained MCL and ankle. But guys know when something significant has happened. Non-contact, at least Deebo's was contact, so there's a chance. Non-contact injury, and you're writhing in pain, something just went awry, and it's not a sprained anything, generally speaking. It's a rupture or it's a torn. You fill in the blank there. That sucks for the Arizona Cardinals. What was already a bad season got worse. And I don't think they felt like it could get any worse, but it did tonight. So that's an unfortunate break for a team that hasn't gotten any breaks this season. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, looking at how T-Law and Fields have improved and Jones and Mills have regressed, it seems like coaching is the common denominator. Surrounding talent seems secondary. Doug Peterson redemption arc. I will tell you this. Coaching means a hell of a lot. It's one of the most underrated aspects in all of sports. Everybody loves to talk about talent, and talent's great. And without it, you're probably not going to go as far as you want to. But give me the well-coached team against a team with all the talent, but they're misguided, and I'll show you a loser. I'll show you a team that won't maximize the talent that they have, i.e. the Brooklyn Nets with Steve Nash as their coach. They weren't going to win. Why? Because Steve Nash didn't know what the hell he was doing. Just because you're a great player or were a great player doesn't mean you make a great coach. Trevor Lawrence, and this is any young quarterback. If you don't have a stable environment for a young quarterback, you're looking to destroy that young quarterback. We've seen it happen over and over and over again, where you bring a guy into Dwayne Haskins was set up for failure. You can believe what you want about him. I don't think he was ever going to be that guy. I was not a Dwayne Haskins guy. May he rest in paradise. But he was never going to succeed in Washington. Why? Because the coach that drafted him didn't want him. The owner drafted him. That coach was looking to save his job. He didn't save his job. He got fired 5 games into the next season. So right off the bat, you're bringing in a young quarterback with the staff that never wanted him in the first place. That staff gets fired 5 games in, and now he's got a whole new staff, okay, essentially. And I mean, the same guys were there, but they have different philosophies. Like Bill Callahan had a totally different philosophical belief in how you run an offense and a team than that of Jay Gruden. So now you're dealing with an entirely different staff. The play calling is different. Maybe even some of the verbiage is different now. In season, they're not going to change too much. You got the same play caller in Kevin O'Connell, but there were a lot of fundamental differences with the way things were being done. Then the next year, you get Ron Rivera coming in there. Brand new offense. Scott Turner comes in, brand new verbiage. Everything's different. And so now you got to learn all over again. And so it's just tough when you put a young quarterback. It happened to Justin Fields. He comes in, he's drafted by a staff that they might have been on board with drafting him, but they weren't going to be there to see him through this whole scenario. They weren't going to be around to coach him up and to get the most out of Justin Fields. They weren't going to see the end result, right? They get fired after 1 season. The guy that drafted him is no longer there. The guy that was coaching him is no longer there. They bring in a new GM, a new coach, and now you got to start all over again from scratch. The new GM comes in, doesn't do him any favors because he didn't draft Justin Fields, so he didn't go out and get him any real help. He goes out and gets some Byron Pringle and Equanimous St. Brown. These are the guys they brought in as free agent acquisitions to help Justin Fields. Are you kidding me? You're setting him up for failure. It was Justin Fields' legs that ultimately settled him down and sold that organization on, hey, let's go get Chase Claypool. Let's start building around this kid. He's actually, better than we thought. But he had to convince them. And he had to do it with his legs. Doug Peterson was the perfect hire in Jacksonville. I said that before the season started. I'm like, this is the best thing that could happen to, Trevor Lawrence. And you're seeing that. He's still got a ways to go, but he's in a stable environment. And that's all you really want for a young quarterback is a stable environment. If he's good and the environment is stable, it'll shine through. It'll manifest itself. If you've got proper coaching, stable environment, proper coaching, if the guy's talented and he gets it, it'll shine through. If the environment's unstable or you don't have great coaching, all bets are off. Like Justin Herbert doesn't have the most stable environment with the Chargers. It's not a very stable environment. Doesn't have the best coaching. Hasn't since he's gotten in the league, honestly speaking. Guess what? He's good enough to overcome the shortcomings of Joe Lombardi as his offensive coordinator or Brandon Staley as his head coach or, ownership group that thinks they know more football than they really do. He's able to overcome all of that because he's that good. But that's not how it usually works. He's an elite talent. So, coaching means a hell of a lot. You'd be a damn fool to think that it doesn't. Also, confidence, it means a hell of a lot. And you know what also goes a long way? A coach that believes in you. That goes a hell of a long way too. When I know you don't believe in me, it's hard. Because now every mistake becomes amplified. I start thinking, is this the one that's going to get me benched? They don't care about me anyway. I start thinking about, am I good enough? You start questioning yourself. Confidence is huge too. Duncan Wright, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Duncan writes, last chat, fly Eagles fly. Y'all 12-1, man. I gotta give you credit on that. Y'all are 12-1. But with that said, that's going to do it for me. Your man, Louie T. Patriots get the win. They're 7-6. They're the 7th seed in the AFC as of right now. Cardinals fall to 4-9 with this loss. But more importantly, the loss of Kyler Murray is greater than any loss they could have sustained this season or moving forward. And so we await the results. It doesn't sound good. And all we can hope at this point is that it's just an ACL and nothing else. But we will see. So that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Take care. And as always, God bless and good night.
Louie